There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen and lived in luxury every day. Now, so far you could say, well, maybe this is just a parable. It's like a sower went out to sow. Does that mean that he's thinking of a particular farmer who's doing this planting? Or when he tells the prodigal son story, is he thinking of a particular father and son? Or is this just a fiction? This is a parable. This is a story to illustrate truth. Well, so far, this could be Jesus making up a story that's representative of other stories, that's true, but not necessarily a specific man. But then, at his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Well, if this is, quote, just a parable, it's distinctly different from all the other parables because none of the other parables ever give somebody a name. Now, some people say, yeah, but Jesus probably just made the name up. Okay, why would he make it up for this case and not in other cases? So, a farmer named Nathaniel went out to plant. The prodigal son, why isn't the father named? Why isn't the son named if naming is a... Well, maybe he was a real person, and let me tell you this. I would suggest that if Jesus was going to make up a name, he would never make up the name Lazarus. Why? Because there's another Lazarus who's not a poor man, but a rich man, who's a man who doesn't just die and go on. He's a man who dies and comes back, and Jesus raises him from the dead. Now, Lazarus was a common name, but I think the suggestion would be that he was actually, this is a story of a man named Lazarus. And this rich man, who is sometimes called Dives or Dives, which is actually just the Latin word for rich man. So it wasn't actually a personal name, but Lazarus is there. So it was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried, and in hell, where he was in torment, he looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. So he called to him, "Father Abraham, have pity on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire." Now, of course, people say, you can interpret that figuratively. I mean, we don't have to take all this literally. But it just seems to be so specific, so graphic in terms of, couldn't he just say, and there was a rich man who was in spiritual torment? But the physicality of Lazarus coming to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool his tongue seems so specific. But then other people argue, yeah, but the resurrection hasn't happened yet, so they can't have bodies. But could they have temporary physical forms of some sort that are not resurrection bodies? There's the resurrection to life and the resurrection to damnation that Jesus speaks of in John 5. Clearly that has not happened. So this is something we make sure we get straight, is that resurrection does not happen one at a time when you die.